Now, Jay actually had a lot of good games in there, and I totally I don't know what just happened right there. Hey everyone, it's Jason from GameRave.com, and this is GameRaveTV. Alright guys, so funny story. You know how I told you last episode was the second to last episode of The Letter Legacy? It turns out I accidentally scratched off one of the episodes from my list of things to do and didn't catch it until just now. So this is actually the second to last episode of The Letter Legacy. Alright guys, so this episode of The Letter Legacy, we're going to deal with G, H, I, and J. Now, all four letters have a decent amount of games to them, but what's cool is that this is probably the first episode where not only do we get to pick essentially what is a mainstream game, which I was actually hoping to avoid, but we get to pick one of my favorite games of all time. If only because there wasn't really much competition with it. Alright, so let's get rolling. The letter G. Runners up for G are actually kind of few and far between, both on quality and as far as if they held up after all this time. One of those is Grand Theft Auto 1, which by today's standards looks like the sloppiest Pac-Man game you've ever seen, but it did start a lot of the open world revolution, and as time went on, it became a great series. The original really doesn't age well though, and unless you can deal with oddball controls and things, not really worth it. There's also the Gundam Battle Collection, which was fighting games based on the Mobile Suit Gundam series, and as long as you don't mind a little bit slower paced, more thumpy gameplay, they're an amazing set of fighting games. The damage is well done, you can lose pieces, there's just, some of the characters are like 2 screens tall, just a really fun game series. Now, the winner for G can actually go one of 2 ways, and it's basically just based on your preference of car choice. That's right, the winner of G is Gran Turismo. A lot of people say 2 is better, a lot of people say 1 was better. I'm in the camp that thought 1 was a lot better. 2 and on, especially starting from 3 and on, it just felt like they were sucking the life out of the game, and just instead of becoming a video game, it was just a very plain Jane boring simulator. Gran Turismo 1 still had just enough little rambunctiousness in it to still be a fun arcade-like game, even though it was designed to be a simulation. It's also one of the only simulation racing games I actually care to play, which says a lot for it. I'm more of a Burnout Ridge Racer type guy. Now we're up to H. H really didn't have much going for it, truth be told, as far as like true standouts are concerned. At least that was until I put away my sports bias. Runners-up in this category include Harry Potter games, actually both Harry Potter games. They're really good. They're almost slightly open-world games, gorgeous graphics, some interesting camera work. If you've never played them, check them out. You'd actually be surprised at how good they are. There's also Harvest Moon, a fun little farming game, etc. that a lot of people like. More of a niche title nowadays, but you know, it's a good game. That being said, the winner to H, and I believe our first sports game ever, is Hot Shots Golf. Now, like I said, I'm not a big sports person, and I'm usually will only play the sports games if it's an extreme, like NBA Jam, you know, Blades of Steel, arcade-like. Hot Shots Golf, after having looked back at it for this episode, it's probably one of the only games that actually truly brought a simulation game, but in an arcade skin, for lack of a better term. It's very simple, very easy to get into, you know, great little characters to choose from. Definitely check it out. That brings us to I. Now, I actually has a lot of good little games in there, especially considering such an oddball letter to start the name of a game with. As far as our runners-up go, that would include In the Hunt, just an amazing arcade game, almost basically Metal Slug in water, which was made by IREM. And then you've got Irritating Stick, another arcade game originally found on the Neo Geo based off a Japanese TV show where you basically had to get a stick through a maze, but if you touched the wall of the maze, you got shocked. Hence the irritating part. Now, I's winner actually came down to 2 games, and one of them has a select fanboy bias to them, and the other game is basically awesome, but it can't win to my game. Steve's gonna kill me. The other runner-up was Incredible Crisis. Now, if you've ever played Parappa the Rappa or other QuickTime event games, it's basically a music, you know, rhythm game, but set to this tragedy and chaos happening in Japan. You follow this, like, you know, business family man through his disasters and so forth. But the I game for the Letter Legacy is Intelligent Cube. I love Intelligent Cube. as a person who, I wouldn't say I love puzzle games, but I don't hate them. Like, I'll play them if they're cool, like Puzzle Fighter. I played Tetris for a little bit, things like that. But Intelligent Cube was just the perfect combination of interesting visuals, mathematical puzzle solving, and trying to figure out how not to die in a puzzle game. I love this game, and I don't play it enough, but it's one of the best games. If you've never played Intelligent Cube, you need to track it down right now and do it. Finally, that brings us to Jay. Now, Jay had a lot of good games in it, but a lot of those great games had problems with them. Like, one of the runner-ups was Jet Moto and its other sequels, because the game, while being fun and enjoyable, got so flippin' hard, you couldn't do it. Like, I don't think I even gotten to the third stage of the first game yet, because it's so hard to beat. Other than that, there was also Jade Cocoon, which is about the closest you'd get to Pokemon on the PlayStation. Jackie Chan's is also fun, but not the legacy game you need. That brings us to Jay's legacy game, and of course, it's frickin' Jumping Flash. Jumping Flash and its sequel are... You have to understand, if you did not grow up in the early 90s when 3D gaming was truly taking off, you don't understand the struggle. The transition from 2D to 3D was really freaking rough. Just crazy. Like, we had games where there were like 4 polygons to a character. It was bad. And a lot of those early games, like Bases Loaded, just didn't age well. Jumping Flash was the first true 3D game, and this is before Mario 64 came out. It was the first 3D game that really made you go, holy crap, like, look at how big this place is. And, like, I can go anywhere. I can go behind that rock. I can go on that platform. And to this day, that sense of depth when you do a triple jump cannot be replicated. And it pains me. It really does pain me that they have never done a sequel on a next-gen platform this. Like I said in the other video, like, I would kill nations for an Oculus Rift or a Morpheus Jumping Flash. I would probably throw up while I play it, but I'd be having a whole lot of damn fun. And there you have it, guys. The letter legacy for G, H, I, and J. That leaves S and T as the final letters that we need to talk about. And we're going to save those letters for the anniversary week coming up in September. Just a whole bunch of cool things going on. We actually just finished Project 3. Got some pretty good reviews on that. We've shown off Project 5. Aside, thanks to our Patreon friends for finding out the huge Jesus Christ gap problem in the video that got fixed and repaired, so it's all good now. And then Project 4 is going to be starting hopefully today if I can get this video done in time. That being said, guys, we will see you next week, and the March to the Anniversary Week continues. Take care, you guys. Have a good one.